Good morning, Mark. How are you today? Let me guess, you want the biggest cup of coffee we have in this kitchen.
Good morning, Sarah. You are not wrong. Please pass me the extra large mug. I need all the caffeine I can get today. I feel like a zombie.
You certainly look very tired. Are those new dark circles under your eyes? Did you have a late night?
No, that is the frustrating part. I went to bed at my usual time, around 11 p.m., but I had a terrible night's sleep. One of those nights where you feel like you did not sleep at all.
Oh, I hate those nights. They are the worst. You go to bed on time, but your brain decides not to switch off. It feels so unfair. You wake up feeling more tired than when you went to sleep.
That is the perfect description. I feel completely exhausted. I just could not fall asleep. I was tossing and turning for what felt like hours. I kept looking at my alarm clock, which I know is a bad idea.
Looking at the clock is a terrible idea. It just makes you more stressed. You see the hours passing by, and you start calculating how little sleep you are going to get.
Exactly. I saw midnight, then 1 a.m., then 2 a.m. I think I finally fell asleep at around 3 a.m., but then my alarm went off at 6:30 a.m., which felt like 5 minutes later.
So you only got about 3.5 hours of sleep. That is not nearly enough to function properly. No wonder you need the biggest coffee mug.
I am going to need at least 3 of these today, I think. I have a long day of meetings, and I do not know how I am going to stay awake and concentrate.
That is going to be a real challenge. Do you have any idea why you could not fall asleep? Were you feeling unwell, or was it something else?
I felt physically fine. The problem was my mind. It was racing. I could not stop thinking about things. It was like my brain was too busy and too awake to let me sleep.
I know that feeling very well. What were you thinking about, if you do not mind me asking? Was it anything specific?
It was mostly work-related stress, I think. I have that big presentation to give to the management team on Monday. I kept thinking about all the slides I still need to prepare. I was mentally rehearsing my speech over and over again.
Ah, the pre-presentation anxiety. That is a classic reason for a sleepless night. Your brain is trying to solve problems and prepare for a stressful event, but it has chosen the worst possible time to do it.
It certainly did. It is not helpful to think about PowerPoint slides at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, what do you do when that happens to you? When your mind is racing with worries?
It is a difficult situation. The first thing I try to do is to get out of bed for a little while. Sometimes just changing your environment can help to break the cycle of anxious thoughts.
That is a good point. Lying in the dark and thinking is probably not the best strategy. So you get up and do something else for a bit?
Yes, but it has to be something very calm and relaxing. I might go to the living room and read a book for about 20 minutes, but it has to be a boring book. An exciting book will just wake me up more.
A boring book. That is a clever idea. It helps to distract your mind without being too stimulating. Did you ever try just listening to some calming music?
Yes, calm music or a relaxing podcast can also be very effective. The key is to do something that does not involve a bright screen. What did you do last night when you could not sleep?
I think I did all the wrong things. First, I tried reading the book that is on my nightstand, but, like you said, it is a very exciting thriller novel. So, after 20 minutes, I felt more awake than before.
That is a classic mistake. So, what did you try next?
I decided to watch a movie on my tablet. I thought it might bore me to sleep, but the light from the screen was so bright in the dark room, it felt like it was hurting my eyes.
That is the worst thing you can do. The blue light from screens, like tablets, phones, and televisions, tells your brain that it is daytime. It stops your brain from producing melatonin, which is the hormone that helps you sleep.
I have heard that before. I knew it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway. I was feeling desperate. I even checked my work emails on my phone at one point. It was a terrible decision.
Checking work emails in the middle of the night is a recipe for disaster. It sounds like you need a better strategy for those difficult nights. Have you ever heard of a wind down routine?
A wind down routine? You mean like a routine you do before you go to sleep? I don't really have one. I usually just watch TV, brush my teeth, and then get into bed.
A wind down routine is a set of relaxing activities you do for about an hour before you plan to go to sleep. It signals to your body and your mind that it is time to prepare for rest.
That sounds like a very sensible idea. What kind of activities are in your wind down routine?
My most important rule is no screens for the last hour before bed. No phone, no tablet, no TV. Instead, I might have a warm, not hot, shower. Then I drink a cup of caffeine-free herbal tea, and sometimes I do about 10 minutes of gentle stretching or deep breathing exercises.
No screens for a whole hour? That sounds very difficult, but I can see why it would be effective. And herbal tea? That is an interesting idea. I usually only drink coffee or black tea.
Well, you should definitely not drink those before bed. They are full of caffeine. But there are many wonderful herbal teas that are known for their calming properties. The most famous one is chamomile tea.
Chamomile tea. I think I have tried that before. It has a very gentle floral flavor, right?
Yes, exactly. It is very good for relaxation and can help you feel sleepy. Peppermint tea is good for digestion, and lavender tea is also excellent for calming the mind. The important thing is that they are all caffeine-free.
I think I will buy some chamomile tea this weekend. There is a great little tea shop, a tea house, near my apartment here in Vienna. I will try drinking a cup before bed. It sounds like a much better habit than looking at my phone.
It is a much, much better habit. Another important factor for good sleep is your bedroom environment. Do you make sure your bedroom is completely dark and quiet?
I try to. It is usually quiet because I live on a side street. But it is not completely dark. There is a very bright street light right outside my bedroom window,
and my curtains are quite thin.
Ah, that could also be a big part of the problem. Light is a very powerful signal to the brain. Even a small amount of light can disrupt your sleep.
So the light from the street lamp could be telling my brain to stay awake, just like the blue light from my phone?
It is very possible. My advice would be to invest in a good pair of blackout curtains. They are designed to block all outside light. They can turn your bedroom into a dark, peaceful cave. It makes a huge difference to the quality of your sleep.
Blackout curtains. That is another excellent practical suggestion. I will look for some this weekend. My bedroom is also often too warm, especially in the summer. I find it hard to sleep when I am hot.
That is another important point. A cool room is much better for sleeping than a warm room. The ideal temperature for sleep is actually quite cool, around 18 degrees Celsius. Maybe you could try sleeping with a small, quiet fan in your room.
A fan is a good idea. It would cool the room down, and the gentle noise might also help to block out any other sounds from outside. This is great. I have a whole list of things to try now.
I am glad I can help. There is one last piece of advice. On nights when you cannot sleep, the most important thing is to try not to worry about it.
That is the hardest part. How do you not worry about it?
You have to tell yourself that it is okay. My body will sleep when it is ready. It is not a disaster if I have one bad night. The anxiety about not sleeping is often the very thing that keeps you awake.
The anxiety about not sleeping keeps you awake. That is so true. It is a vicious circle. So I need to be more relaxed about the whole process.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself. Well, I hope that all these ideas can help you have a much better sleep tonight. You have a plan now.
I do. A wind-down routine with no screens, a cup of chamomile tea, and I will look for blackout curtains and a fan this weekend. Thank you so much for the conversation, Sarah. I was feeling so groggy and miserable, but now I feel a bit more hopeful.
You are very welcome, Mark. I know how horrible it feels to be sleep deprived. I am sure you will sleep like a baby tonight.
I hope so. Now, I am going to drink this giant coffee and try to survive this Friday. It was really nice talking to you.
You too, Mark. Let me know on Monday if you had a better night's sleep over the weekend. I will be curious to hear.